Ooh. Super62 wants to know, what happened to the 3D style of flying? Does anyone do it much anymore? So for those who don't know, 3D means that when you flip, you can flip the quadcopter upside down and the motors will reverse so the quadcopter can fly upside down. And it's some really mind-bending style of flying. In fact, let's go on YouTube. Let me find an example here. Okay, great. Yeah. This is some footage from Zoe FPV. Zoe flies 3D. She's probably the best well-known 3D pilot. And if you're not familiar, I'm not going to turn the audio on, but you can see she turns upside down and then she hasn't done any blatantly 3D moves yet. She's kind of fooling us. All of the moves so far you probably could do with a regular quad. But she'll pull it out. And, oh, look, I'm just going to fly upside down here, right? So she is manipulating. Now we're just going to fly upside down for a minute. She's manipulating the quad in ways that you simply couldn't do if you didn't have 3D props. I actually really like her style because she doesn't often just like turn upside down and go, hey, I'm flying upside down, everybody. She does it sometimes, but most of the time she kind of just mixes it in a little bit subtly. So like if you didn't know what 3D was, you would be like almost confused. And I kind of like the trickiness of it. The question is, why doesn't anybody seem to do 3D anymore? Well, Zoe has not made content in a little while. I think she's had some personal issues that I don't really want to sort of like try to dive into because I don't really have any of the details. And, you know, other than her, I don't think there were a lot of people out there who sort of made 3D a center of their style. One of the things about 3D is that when you fly with 3D, if you want good performance of your props, oh, there you go. So now there is blatantly a move that could only happen with 3D. Now she's really pulling it out. This is a really good run. So 3D pilots will have symmetrical props that work just as good upside down as they do right side up. But the problem is that they work just as bad upside down as they do right side up. You sort of can't have it all. That's a really gosh dang cool move. Wow. And so pilots who aren't really invested in it will pick props that are better when they're right side up and not really worry about flipping upside down. I think that a lot of people just never took the time to develop the skill. And I don't know if 3D is like harder to watch for people and kind of confusing. But I think what happened to the 3D style of flying was that Zoe was really the main person who did it, and then she stopped making content, and yeah. Let's see. Bubby FPV points out, Minchan Kim posted the best 3D video ever. I mean, I effing believe it. Minchan Kim, he's like, oh, hi, I'm just going to blow your mind here. Let's look up. See if I can find Minchan Kim's 3D video. Is there like a title, Bubby? Is there a title for it? How can I find it? Bubby says, I'll try 3D. Bubby, you need to try 8S 3D. Let's see here. Cheech FPV says we need to master 2D first. 3D is just too hard for me. Yeah, 3D is hard, and the payoff is debatable. So I think a lot of people don't bother with it. Thank you, Plenty. It's Not Sam has posted a link to the Minchan video. Let's check it out. Hello. Oh, right here. Okay. This is FPV. Again, I'm not going to play the music. Just because I don't want to risk a copy strike. But let's go ahead and this is Minchan Kim's attempt at 3D. I'll bet it's pretty good. Hey, oh my God. Is this the correct speed? Can I put the playback speed? I'm just going to put the playback speed on 0.75 so that I can, like, my brain doesn't explode. I hope you guys will forgive me for that. This is Min-Chan Cam at 3/4 speed. Am I doing him a disservice by putting it at 3/4 speed? So you can see these little pushes that he does when he's inverted, where he gets just a little bit of extra hang time inverted, or he's able to do moves like that. The interesting thing is that, like, if you watch Spang pilots, there we go. See, he couldn't do that without 3D. But if you watch Spang pilots, it looks like they must be using 3D sometimes, and they aren't most of the time, if not all the time. It's just tricks with the physics. But like moves like that, you couldn't do without 3D. All right, let's put Min-Chan at full speed instead of 3/4 speed. Normal speed. Oh my God. It hurts my brain. Sheesh. What is even happening? I don't even know. Are those like obstacles in the trees? I mean, that is badass, I'll tell you. Oh, hello. So I think you could start to see maybe why it didn't get more popular. When he's inverted, he's just kind of staring at the ground. The camera angle isn't right. It's not very pleasant to look at as a viewer. I think to me, what would make 3D the most interesting is when it's just kind of sprinkled in a little bit. But for the most part, the flying, it's used to enhance normal flying. Like, there's no question that what Min-Chan's doing is amazing. I'm not actually sure I'm enjoying looking at it, if that makes sense. Wow. All right. It's pretty freaking cool, though. JB needs to learn who Flexo 3D is. All right. Who's Flexo 3D? Flexo. We'll look at one more video. This is going to be just JB looks at 3D videos. Well, anybody who starts their channel off with a Futurama reference, I'm all for. However, the majority of these content is shorts, and I don't feel good about it. Are these all 3D? Raw DVR prop noise. All right, here, let's turn the video on here. Yeah, you can hear the motors reversing. Listen. We're going to do an inverted trippy spin? Is that what's going on? So you can hear that little stutter as the motors reverse. Okay. Interesting. So, like, yeah. It's interesting that when I can hear the stutter, I can see a little bit of shudder as he turns over and the motors reverse. Anyway. Okay. Alrighty. Eirik Toft, does Flexo have a better one? I mean, I think that's it for 3D right now. I think we're going to move on, but yeah.